Welcome everyone to the Breaking Night podcast, where we talk about being creative and all the stuff that inspires us to be creative. I am the Rumbler from the Bronx, the Extreme Assassin, Craven Knight, professional wrestler, and overachiever in the making world. And with me, as always, is the artist, the man who you know as the guy who will introduce himself. Tell him who you are.
It is Sean Iredale. That's right, MFers. I'm here to bring you the best in our current life situations and our creative content, and talk about how this guy makes tights for grown-ass men and women.
Because men will spare no expense for tights that they wear probably once a month, but will not spend $100 on a pair of shoes that they wear every day. I'm talking about myself, of course.
Oh, dang.
But I make my own stuff, so I don't got to pay for it.
Dang, shots fired. Shots fired.
Everyone else pays for my gear.
Everyone else pays for my gear.
Yep.
I don't know why I really feel like doing like my Southern barbecue Texas voice. Like,
Just being Texas.
Tonight we're talking creative.
Yeah. As we do every week, we're talking about being creative and making tights for grown men. And barbecue sauce as we sprinkle on our kick pads and our LeBron James sneakers.
LeBron James. Dude, you should make barbecue sauce kick pads. And like
just every single day, I'll be that burden in the locker room that sprinkles some weird nonsense all over their gear.
It would be such a rib. Yeah. Holy shit!
I'll just print rib.
Inception.
So I'll
Yes.
I will press on the cartoon image of ribs
Yes.
on my kick pad,
Yes.
and I'll come out with a bottle of JR's barbecue sauce.
Slather it on your kick
And
pad.
go into the ring. I'll do this in front of everybody. So I'll be in the ring and I'll slather a bunch of this barbecue sauce on my kick pads and make the fans lick it.
I think it's so good.
Yep. And just hear the splat and just the ricochet and the splatter onto the fans. I'm like fucking like Gallagher at his like in the most fittest and just giving kicks and kicks.
Love it. You, like the first kick, you should go smoky, sweet, savory,
Chili's, bacon, back, break a rib. What are we doing here?
I think that's really good.
Yeah.
I personally think that's really good. Because, like, if you were in back, it would be such a rib to the boys, too. Because, like, if you were in back and, like, say you had pre-slathered kick pads, you just opened up your bag and the fucking locker room smelled like Casey Masterpiece. Holy shit! Casey Knight! No! The Casey Masterpiece logo, but it's Craven Knight.
Oh god, I have to have a separate bag just for that.
It's
plenty of plastic laying around.
It's literally the barbecue rib bag. Like, I think that's so good.
Oh man, I feel like I have to give those away. Like be like John Cena giving away his wristbands after every show. I have to give away my kick pads.
Slap a child
the most
in
expensive
face.
giveaway ever.
Slap a child in the face with your barbecue slathered boots. Oh,
Jesus Christ.
So
love
good.
to be a burden.
So
why are we here?
So
why are we here?
Well, because we are in Minnesota and it is 95 degrees out with
it's
apparently
storming.
the cloud cover of what will soon be a reenactment of the movie Twister.
Indeed.
So before this,
I think I saw a cow.
Before this takes our lives with the finger of God and the F5 and all that shit.
Where we get freaking thunderstorm warnings on an hourly basis and still just deal with nothing but sunshine while it's going on.
Yeah, that's very true.
That's just kind of how Minnesota rolls, at least where we live in cities.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird here.
In other areas of Minnesota, I can't really speak for. Those areas probably have a lot more dead people than we can count.
I just assume tornadoes constantly take families when they're outside the cities because it's funny. I watched Man of Steel. I still kind of laughed at Pa Kent.
Yeah, he could have been saved easily. No one would ever fucking notice.
Well, either way, he didn't seem like that too good of a father.
Yeah,
anyway.
I don't think he just wanted to raise an alien boy anymore.
Yeah, I think he was.
Even though he was already probably ready to go to.
Yeah, he was just over the marriage, low key. He just didn't tell
like,
anybody.
This bitch is just like driving me crazy.
Driving me nuts.
I'm getting tired of eating
Clark
the same
won't
fucking
shut
corn.
Up. Clark's a god. He doesn't have to eat.
He thinks he's special. He doesn't have to work out. I've been trying to work out and stay in shape for this bitch all my life. But
I used to be Robin Hood, and that movie was not that great.
The worst adoption I've ever made.
I would have sent you back, Clark, but
there was
didn't know
There was no refund option on that alien ship.
On that note, we should probably get to the creative side of the podcast.
It's about time we get the show rolling, everybody.
No, he is not drunk for everybody at home.
On smart water that's being refilled by the fountain at the gym.
Yes, dude. Hey, does your gym have the water filter Philly thing?
The one that has, like, you put your bottle in front of it?
Yeah.
Yep, it does.
We just got
My bottle's too big for it.
We just got...
If you know what I'm saying.
that water's smart, dog. Tall 12 inches. So, LA Fitness just finally got their water McFilskis.
Oh, yeah, it's not broken yet?
No.
I see that being the type of gym that, like, they get new shit and it breaks.
Same. Oh, I can share my story since we're on the topic.
Yes.
I shared this.
I love pre-topic banter on podcasts because it's always so much more entertaining than the actual show.
Wow, way to shit on the product before it comes out. Wow.
Oh, man.
Just to preface this podcast, whatever we're about to talk about now is way better. Anyway. So.
I'll be honest, I do fully listen to the show because, like, at the because my current job now, I have all the time in the world to listen to all the podcasts I like to listen to. So by the time the weekend comes, or like Monday or Tuesday, if nothing has popped up, I have nothing really to listen to unless I go back into a backlog of podcasts and listen to. So I'm like, fuck it, I'll do a quality check at like a week after or 2 days after I already posted a podcast and just listen to the whole podcast and see how it came out.
I mean, that's kind of important.
Yeah.
You need those people until we can pay people to do it for us.
There's not so much to listen to myself. I'm just like, I remember laughing my ass off with Sean through this episode. I want to re-listen to that and relive that moment.
Yeah, I want to relive that.
So I don't re-listen to it because I enjoy the sound of my voice. I enjoy rehearing the stories that you tell that make me laugh my ass off as I'm sweating inside this house as it's storming outside.
So, speaking of sweat, this will now go into the story. So, I work out at the most illustrious club on the planet. Yes, you may have all thought it was Blast Fitness, but no, it's actually Planet Fitness. No, it's not Planet Fitness.
Oh, dear God.
I work out at LA Fitness. And the
Fitness.
La Fitness is what I like to call it.
Get your fitness on at La
Fitness. So, I started a new program that my boy Kevin from Monster Management, shout outs to him,
word up,
wrote me, and it's been working so far. But I was doing a little warm up skis for leg day. So I pop on. So usually I'm supposed to be on this treadmill no more than 7 minutes, just a little warming up the old turkey legs and getting the blood all flowing.
Reminding you why you'd rather be home.
Oh man! I mean, 7 minutes is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's better than what I used to do when I thought I was exercising my body and really I was just hating my life.
Yeah.
And
doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah, I was like, wow, this is a waste of time jogging in this hamster treadmill. So, I'm like, all right, cool, time to warm up. So I go upstairs, and I start off slow, on my treadmill. And then I go up to an 8, 8.5, so I could just run. I was just going to sprint and then be done, kind of do some HIIT, like just right at the end.
Yeah.
So, I get on the treadmill that I was on. I'm finished with my walking phase. I go into my sprint phase, and as I run, the thing goes error. I'm like, okay, all right. Well, I don't know why this just happened.
There was no R2D2 beep beep sound. Just
no. It's just like done.
Screeching halt.
It sounded more like a sand person. So. I mean, a Tuscan? A Tungan? What are they? Tuscan Raiders? I don't know. Whatever. I'm not too Star Warsy.
Yeah.
Anyway, either way.
I like Star Wars enough, but I just don't call them sand people.
Well, I'm
sorry if that's derogatory towards sand people.
If
you're a sand person and you listen to this.
It sounded like a person of the sand. So So after that happened, I'm like, okay. So I just moved to the treadmill next to it. And I'm like, okay, start off slow, probably 30
Just
seconds.
creep away.
And then I go right back up to the 8.5, right? Yeah, I'm like, yeah, now I'm running. Another minute. Error. So...
What are the chances?
What the fuck, though? Like, So I posted on my Facebook that the Game Lords decided that I'm never gonna run again or something. I don't know, but I just thought that was very weird.
It would make me very fearful to be in your shoes where something like that happens. So it's like, maybe I'll just do like running in place or just run in deep, and then the fucking floor breaks out from under you.
It's just weird, man. Because I'm like, am I too heavy for this thing? I'm pretty sure there's like no weight limit, right?
If you see fucking obese people attempting to run on these things, you should be just fine.
That's what I'm saying. There are people that are bigger than me that definitely sprint on this, or at least try. So I can't imagine. But as I'm running on this thing, it's just like, no, and then it just quits. So I'm like,
it was the end of those treadmills shift that day.
Yeah, I suppose. And then go figure, the first treadmill in that row had an out of order sign on it. So why the fuck am I breaking them just one at a time? Like, I don't know. I just thought it was weird. And I'm like, is it my weight? Like, is it my technique of running? What the fuck is going on? So either way, I stopped and then I did leg day and I regretted the whole day because that's what leg days are for.
Yes, regret it. And me, I have pretty much like 2 leg days a week. Depending on how I space everything out. Like, with the way how my days have been like spaced out, I would have another leg day either tomorrow or Tuesday. Oh, okay. So, wait, tomorrow is Tuesday. Wait, today's Monday. Okay, so tomorrow or Wednesday. Yeah. So, because I did chest today.
You can tell you work for yourself now.
Yeah, because I don't know what days it is anymore. But, like, because I always try to do 2 days on, 2 days off. Sometimes, if I'm feeling very ambitious, I'll do 3 days if I have nothing better to do with my time. And I did chest day today. And usually how my warm-ups go, every now and probably after a couple of months, I want to switch things up in a way. I typically go on the bike and I'll watch wrestling matches. We've discussed that before. And, I pretty much just warm up for the length of a wrestling match and I'll like kind of sprint on the bike and all that shit. So I pretty much be on the bike for like 20 minutes.
Right.
Just trying to get a good sweat going. I wear I wear layers, and really a layer is just one thermal fucking shirt on.
Right, sure.
And that gets me going. I need to get that warm up. And then I go do abs and then I go do a little bit of extra cardio, high intensity cardio because I hate myself. And then I'll go into the weights, sweaty as fuck. But now I've kind of switched to just like, I don't use a treadmill often, so it's like, so if I use it, my body's not used to it, so it actually warms up my body a little bit easier. So like 10 minutes just walking just really fast at a decent level, and then maybe just a minute of jogging, and then like another minute of walking, and then another minute of just like running and stuff. So I don't have to like try and run for 10 minutes, but I'll like try and do it for 10 minutes and then I'm fine. And then I'll go into the rest of my workout and stuff and start switching to doing abs at the end of the workout where I'm just like, damn, normally I'll just try and stretch and just be done, but I have to do abs. So at that time I'm like so fatigued. I'm just like, I'll do bare minimum with abs because my body fat's a little higher than I want it to be. So I'm not too concerned with like trying to look like Finn Balor or anything like that. Right. Even though from what I understand, he doesn't even do ab exercises. He just eats really well. Yeah, so fuck him.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
I mean, on my program, my new ab workout is wear a waist trainer.
Okay.
While I sleep, and then wake up and never take it off, and hopefully I'll be able to have my waist nice and thin like Dita Von Teese. Yeah. But either way, I am not working abs. Fuck that shit. I'm over it. I'm done.
Yeah.
I just want to be a keg with arms. Yeah. Sign me up.
Anyway.
So, back... Hey, did you see on my Facebook post that my buddy does the same thing you do? He just photoshops me.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I was like, motherfucker took my job, and then he went and put that picture on a shirt. I was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah,
he took my job away from me.
Yeah,
I never have to do it again.
Shout out, big shout out to Nick Bloom, bastard. But yeah, amazing. So what have you been up to, man? I know you've made a lot of gear recently. I know somebody's been a lot of us have really been giving you the thumbs up, pat on the back for that most recent tilapia gear.
Tilapia gear.
I know it's not tilapia.
For, James Tapia, a graduate of the Pro Wrestling Academy here in Minnesota. Shout out to them for being such a great place and spewing out great fucking talent. But yeah, cool guy. It just never occurred to me that this guy is also a fellow New Yorker. He grew up in Queens. I think he claims to be from Queens, New York, but he wears a New York cap, and I can only assume he's a fellow Hispanic that happens to be from New York and
so
Queens,
you're the Cap and he's the Spider-Man. Remember,
I'm from the
Where
Bronx.
You from, son? Brooklyn. Oh, I'm from Queens. Oh,
no, I'm from where. Yeah. But I'm from where all the people who created those comic book characters are from. So not the actual characters, because how many actual comic book characters... And I don't read enough comic books to really know, but how many comic book characters are from the Bronx?
Not many.
Not many.
Because
there's none that I know of. All I know is that, friggin' Bill Finger, Stan Lee, friggin' a lot of creators are from Bronx, New York. Mm-hmm. So that's my little connection to the comic book world anyway. But no, I made the James Tapia gear, which I use I found a cool source for that gear, and just really good stretch, kind of pleather vinyl material that was like a dark green croc skin. Was by his request. He was wondering if I could find a good color for that, so I went to see what I can find. And I showed it to him, and he loved it. And I got the material in. I got plenty of it in, so if I wanted to make gear for myself using that, I totally could. But I just kind of keep that there. So he wanted, the sleeveless vest with the hood. He wanted the long tights and to fit a certain way. And because it only stretches two ways, which the way it should stretch is around the leg, not going up and down the leg or anything, it can't go as high as he really wanted. I think he wanted it to be belly button level. So I don't think that's where it's at, but it still looks good. So I was able to give enough space to where it, it can at least be up, above his butt, because some things I'm just I'm still learning what's the best way to make certain tights, especially stuff that doesn't stretch too well. Right. Whereas if you look at a pair of pants, it's okay, the butt has to be higher and the front has to be lower, because if you make them both the same length, one side will be too short and one side will be too long. So there'll be this fold in the tights. If the front of the tights is the same height as the back. But if the back of the tights is the same height as the front, saying if you only measured up to the front, then the back, every time they bend over, if it doesn't stretch, then it's going to
dip.
It's going to dip low. It's going to be
it's going to look weird.
Yeah, it's going to be plumber crack all over. Yep. And so I'm trying to see ways to try and avoid that. And after doing this was also one of those learning experiences where it's okay, I'm better off. Because the way I do it now, this is a tip for any seamsters who happen to listen to a podcast. Mm-hmm. When I do it, I'll make my pattern to accommodate for the back now, and to accommodate for that height in the back. So it ends up being a lot of material. But then when I get to that point where I stitch the front and the back together, before I do it doesn't matter when I do the the inseam stitches or whatever. But I'll lay it flat on its side, and I'll take a straight edge going from the top of that back portion and going down to where I believe the front portion should be, depending on the measurements, and then I'll trim that edge off. So the front is at the height the front should be, so it doesn't have to fold, and then that back, it's stretched up high enough. So if there is a fold, it's fine, it's forgiving, because you rather have extra and eliminate than have less and then try to add, which just and I've done that where I've added material, doesn't look right. And that's the case where it's you'll hear say Christian Bale had to get to a certain size to be in Batman Begins, and they made the costumes to accommodate a certain size. Well, he had to lose weight because he gained too much size. You can't add material to a suit. You can't make a suit bigger. That's going to cost too much money. You have to adjust your size to fit the size that they make. And that's usually the case.
If the suit costs X amount to make,
yeah. And so, but not me. I'm not going to tell wrestlers okay, I made this certain size. You got to lose weight to fit in it. So
you should, dude.
Sure, you paid for it,
Get
but
Get that ass.
But no, that gear came out great. I made the vest to. I made it to the pattern of this really decent sleeveless vest I found in a rag stock. I found 2 of them, like I told you earlier, like for 2 for $15. So I'm scavenging other rag stocks to see what other cool sleeveless vests I can find.
Let me know when you find a denim one that's cool.
I've seen like a really cool one. I think it was at the Egan Outlet. They have a black and red looking one.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, and it wasn't on clearance or anything, so it's like usually about $50. But if you have like the cash, like the Hot Topic cash,
I do.
You can get it for like probably $35.
Nice.
$30 and stuff. That's how I got mine. The one that I love, my baby.
Yeah.
Which I'm very tempted, and this is another creative venture I kind of want to do. I look at it because I love it so much. I put it because I have to cover my guitar. I usually keep it in the case, but if I keep it in the case, that deters me from wanting to play it. But so I'll just put my vests and stuff. I lay it on top because my nephew will want to like strum the strings, and he does it out of spite. Because my nephew's a little pain in my ass. But I put my vest with the Rumbler in the Bronx just facing me, and I look at it every day, and I'm like, I want to weather this fucking vest.
Just do it.
I want to make it look beat up. I want to put like
I love that look so much.
Yeah, like because the white is just too white. It's too clean. And the vest looks awesome, but it's like it's a little thing that only I will notice, that only I care about. But it's like it's a prop making technique. But yeah, I just love the idea of just making this look completely worn in this, because it already has like that torn look. But I want to make it look like it's been through battle, and so that's a cool thing I really want to do with it. But yeah, that was my tips for like making something that doesn't necessarily stretch 4 ways, because it should stretch to go around and not stretch to go up and down. I know a friend who's ordered pleather pants that was stitched the wrong way, where it was stretching up and down and not stretching to the side, so his gear tore at the crotch really badly, and his business was shown to the world. I'm not going to name anybody, Johnny Ridlin.
Got his ass.
He was at he's a buddy of mine, but he was kind of known for it. First Avenue, wearing these pleather pants, it tore, and everyone saw his genitalias. So,
what a guy.
Yeah, it's like you do not wear loose boxers under wrestling gear, no matter what type of gear you wear. I can't even be comfortable just letting everything just hang out like that.
Yeah, no, it doesn't feel.
You have to wear support. So
really
he learned from that experience. But he doesn't wrestle anymore, so it doesn't matter. But other than that, I made I've had an addiction and I have a fever, and the only prescription is more sneakers, because I've been addicted to buying sneakers. That's been my vice versus buying toys or anything else, and just finding deals on sneakers. And mainly, I bring up the sneakers because it correlates to like my kick pads. I wanted sneakers, like decent white sneakers, new ones that go with my white kick pads that I deemed the whites, and which I'm eventually going to make new ones with like this cool pearl looking pleather that I got.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of contrast. So like those black ones I have that have like shiny but like has that matte edging, I want to do the same thing but with white.
Nice.
And I just love, even though like I can do anything with gear design wise for myself, I rather just stick to just kind of plain looking. Like I only care about the cool color and contrast, so I rather stick to like the plain black and whites to go with certain items. But no, like getting some cool LeBron sneakers that I got from I got a tip from Ryan Cruz wear for those, because they just look ideal. They kind of fit my specifications for what sneakers should look like under kick pads.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I've talked about it before. I have very specific standards for sneakers.
And I really, really cannot stand it. Huge pet peeve, absolute rage drive, when the sneakers are too goddamn big for the kick pad and too goddamn big for your foot.
Yeah.
Which
is the case for me, because I got big ass feet for someone my height.
What I'm saying, like, but you have legs too.
Yeah.
I remember who's notorious for making, like, I just can't stand it. Elix Skipper back in the day.
Okay.
He would wear kick pads, and then he'd wear like Allen Iverson's underneath, and like the Iverson shoe was just big as shit.
Yeah.
There was no contour to the ankle or to the foot, so it just looks like he's wearing a rubber galosh.
Yeah.
underneath kick pads. It just looks absolutely dumb.
Yeah, it looks weird. And that's why I always stuck. That's why I always stuck with wrestling shoes under the kick pads. But it's like they're not. Wrestling shoes are not a reliable shoe to look for because, like, number one, my feet are very wide. Yeah. So the only thing that really caters to my foot is maybe a basketball sneaker. So, you know, basketball sneakers are made for big ass
feet
with big ass feet with like big ass bunions probably, and
perfect.
Yeah. And so the shoes I got, the LeBron ones, are a little narrow, but I can always stretch them out with more use. And I got some Under Armour ones that are, I think they're called Lockdowns. And they're pretty much just like, they just look like plain, regular black sneakers, but like they're, you know, the sole, they fit really well. They're, you know, nice and wide. They fit me perfectly. They look good under kick pads, like the soles and the toe of the shoe, the soles of the shoe, and it's high enough to where they get covered by the kick pad. It's like, these are perfect. Yeah. Like, they look just fine. Like, I always feel like kick pads always look weird on me because my feet are so long. Mm-hmm. Like, they're so big, and this is not me bragging. This is me just, like, I hate how... I've had issues finding sneakers for myself for years. Yeah. Because, like, even though it's, like...
I got buddies who are the same way.
Yeah. It's, like, very specific sneakers that I like. It's, like, oh, man, these are awesome, but do they have my size? Nowadays, they sell... Because I've had big-ass feet since I was, like, 13, 14 years old. Sure. So, like, but now it's, like, it's so easy because everyone's fucking ginormous.
Everybody's huge now.
So yeah, and that's my case for that. And then it's just a small thing. I made a keychain thing, and mainly it was inspired by Adam Savage from Mythbusters. I watched like old videos, and he has like this little tag that's very long that he keeps in his pocket. It makes it easy to pull his keys out of his pocket. So this inspired me to kind of like condense my keys to be very small. I only have like 2 keys, and then I have my key fob, and it's like I don't need my fucking rewards things on there. I have those in my fucking wallet. Yeah, and like the amount of rings that I have on there. Why do I have this many rings? I don't need this big ass hook, so I got a smaller hook. Condense my keys to be on one ring, and so I have the hook so my car can run, so I can check the mail and that shit. There's very specific reasoning. It's a very silly thing, but it's very practical for me.
Fucking you to try and streamline your key ring.
Yeah.
You
It was a very small thing, but the thing is because like I hate just hanging my keys on my belt. Like I have the option to, but I hate doing it all the time because I hate walking and jingling.
I get it.
So, but I like the idea of just having my keys in my pocket, and then when I reach in my pocket, the first thing I grab is this little strap that says Breakneck Creative on both sides that I use like my pleather, and then I put an eyelet on it, and I just put it on a thing. It's like it's very practical and perfect, and it's like I can make these and sell these, but it's like I don't know how I'll make a couple and see if they even sell, but it's like not something I'm gonna make a shitload of and hope people buy them. It's like it's very tedious to because making the whole thing is easy, but it's the making the vinyl cut and then weeding it. That's where it gets tedious. So I've simplified the logo a little bit. I altered the logo to where like I can make it easier on myself to do smaller versions of that. Because my logo before was very much like a lot of tiny lines and all that. So I'm just changed it up a bit and like just so it's easy for me to weed it at a smaller scale. So I'm probably mess around with that and then redo it and change the font for the creative part. So because the creative part was the font for, I believe, Batman Forever, which was, the artist, Lindsay Kahn, who made that design for me. She kind of chose it because it was supposed to be a mix of Batman and Dragon Ball Z. So I altered it a little bit just to change the font for that, since I can mess with the design, just to do something that's easy for me, but still maintains that same look.
Sure.
So yeah, that's what's been going on with me. What's going on with you?
Personal shit. Well, my life is interesting. My second wife left me. I'm just
the kids want nothing to do with you.
Just kidding. I would have 4 if I could have any wife. So, in terms of creative, I'm still doing these goddamn characters because I'm being commissioned for them. Nice. I'm actually doing my boss and his son at my day job, so that's pretty interesting.
Very nice.
They love his son is just how do I say, he is a savage little piece of fucking human. I mean, he doesn't.
Aren't they?
Yeah, well, like I've known this. I've seen this kid for a year now. He's got to be like what, like 10, 11.
I feel like you've talked about him on the podcast
before. Look at, holy crap. Side note, look at my cat.
He is, or like, your cat is hot, obviously, because it's just hanging out in the window.
Oh shit! Anyway,
this might be an image on that goes along with the Instagram post.
I'm sorry, guys, but I have to take a moment to take a picture of my katox right now because you guys are gonna love it.
I have a picture of you taking a picture. Oh God.
I'm not done yet.
Oh yeah, he's not done. So what we have?
Oh damn it!
Aw.
Go to bed. Go to bed. Why'd you wake up? Alright, it's fine. I was gonna have Deathstroke shoot my cat, but I can't. I guess she didn't want to. Aww, she's so cute.
This is posing.
Anyway.
God.
Okay, I gotta take another photo. My cat is way too important for.
With how much you and your cat bicker back and forth is always fun to see. You just go, "Aw, cute," to your cat. It's like what?
You're adorable. Anyway, so this flaming ball of human that is his son is just. I've known this kid for like a year. I think he's like 10 or 11. I haven't heard him speak a whole sentence, and it's not because there's something wrong. It's because he speaks like he's fucking Mowgli to animals and shit. Like he's just like rah, rah.
Oh
and all he does, and like he might as well have knives in his hand at all times. He only wants to attack and cause trouble.
Oh my God, that's my nephew. I live with that.
I mean, I'm just.
Oh my God.
I'm like, sweet Jesus.
I'm getting flashbacks.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not trying to get PTSD. If you guys know me and eventually figure out who these people are and who this kid is, man,
Neville, protect me.
He's definitely a just ball of energy and has zero respect. It's pretty great. But it makes for a very easy character to draw because the kid's got so much personality and he's so interesting. So him and his dad especially. So they the kid likes to run through the restaurant, bully people, and his dad.
That'd be great for business.
And his dad. I mean, not during, not in front of house, but he definitely likes to terrorize me. And then his dad is the boss, so he does that by nature. So there's that. So I'm working on those two, and I'm still trying to. I should be finishing up my Venom illustration here. I'm working on like a Venom pinup just because I'm practicing some like kind of different brushes and techniques with him, trying to see if I can get him up to snuff. And I'm working on like chromas and grayscale. And then because I'm working in grayscale, I'm learning more values about color, and then I'm going to add the color after I'm done with the grayscale. Lots of different technical shit, but I've been YouTubing it and asking some friends for help, so I've been working on this technique and that particular image. Also, I will be working more hours for my daytime job here coming up soon because I'm being promoted essentially in my position. I'll just use quotes. Yeah, pretty much. But I'm still gonna stay on a 4-day schedule. It's just that I have to double
more time on the days you're actually there.
Yeah, I just need to double on my Fridays essentially.
Okay.
But yeah, it's so yeah, got a lot of stuff going on. I'm still drawing. That's not the problem at all, actually. But yeah, I'm just doing the characters. That's about it so far.
Nice.
So moving on to the entertainment portion, I'd like
we can work our way to entertainment. So that's gonna be a bigger topic with the movies and stuff.
Okay, what else you got then?
We can talk about toys. It seems like you have a Juggernaut that's being a little bit of a pain for you.
Well, I found a good deal on the Marvel Select Juggernaut, which I was dumb not to get in the first place, but. I got him for $25, and
he weighs like 50 pounds.
Yeah, he's like one of the best Marvel Selects by far. The crazy thing to me about Marvel Select toys is that they always get their big characters the best. The Abomination was amazing. Their Thing was awesome. Their Hulks are awesome. Except for I don't like the face sculpt on the Planet Hulk, like the Gladiator Hulk that they did just recently, but that's just really nitpicky. They had the bearded Hulk that came out a couple of years ago that was really good. This Juggernaut is amazing. Like the detail, the size, of the figure, and it just being $20 is kind of ridiculous. You know, the retail price for the amount of toy that you get is kind of insane. So
sometimes when you just see an action figure that you just kind of look at, and this is the case for almost anything. You look at something and you just have your own idea of what it should be valued at, or at least what it should cost within a certain place, and you look at it, and it's like, you know, and sometimes it's very rare where you look at an item, it's like, that is way less than what you normally would probably see that for.
Yeah.
And it's like, you gotta get it.
Yeah, I always say that about the NECA figures for sure. Just the fact that their highest price point figure is usually $30, but they normally retail at $25. So like my Ultimate Kratos was awesome. The new Kratos that I got was awesome. That's $25. And the amount of detail in that figure could easily go for $30 at minimum, you know.
Yeah.
It's awesome. But Juggernaut's really sweet. My buddy has the figure, so I know what it's capable of. It's just right now somebody decided to wrap it in so many fucking twist ties that I'm going to get arthritis and not be able to fucking draw anymore because of how much they wrap this son of a bitch up.
You just have to have a knife handy just in this room.
Yeah, I get it.
You have to have like a...
This isn't my knife room, this is my toy room, Craven.
Well, what you can do, because I have so many creative ideas, you can have a little...
Tell me what, MacGyver? Tell me what the fuck I can do.
So
you need me to sharpen fucking Deathstroke's actual plastic knife? Like, and affix a key fob to it and put Break Night Creative on the hilt, you piece of shit? No, that's not gonna happen.
Oh, do not tempt me. Just a little holster there on a belt, just hanging over that chair that you frequent.
Oh, and, shit, that's a pretty good idea.
Yeah, and just having a giant knife that has, like, actual tweezers at the tip of it. So to cut little small things like that, so it's a little thing. Wow. I'm sure that exists somewhere. I've seen it in a movie or two.
Wow. Thank you, Craggyver. I don't know. Craven Naggyver? I don't know. Either way, thank you for that.
I prefer Nightgyver.
Nightgyver. I will commission you for that later. Also, in other terms of figures lately, I know Tamashi had like a little convention showing off all their new SH figure art stuff. Now, I've been falling off of them a lot lately, unless it's characters I love for Dragon Ball, because they usually get those right. Or like, you know, specific figures that look better than usual. I don't know how else to describe that. Or if they do characters nobody else has done. I know their Street Fighter stuff looks pretty decent. I didn't like the Ryu design, but the Armika was really good, and I thought the Kami was okay. But they're doing Star Wars. They showed some Star Wars stuff that's coming out that looks really good. They're doing Tyrannus, I think. So Dooku, he looks really good. They're doing like the astral projected Luke. That looks really good. I think they're doing a Palpatine and his throne. I was like, oh, wow. Shit, like. Okay, they're on to something there. I thought that was really awesome. They showed the rest of the lineup for their Justice League SH figure arts. So, you know, like they have the Cyborg and the Aquaman and shit coming out. But I still think Mafex is doing a far better job with the likenesses than figure arts and the detail. Because figure arts still does, I think they do like digital face mapping, but I cannot stress to you how fucking dumb some of those Infinity War figure arts look to me. Yeah. Like, if you've seen the bearded Cap, you would know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't know if it's Nicolas Cage with a beard. I don't know what the hell is going on. And then also the Winter Soldier looks like the actor from House. I don't know. It's just... It's falling apart. The Thanos looks great, however. So if you're getting any of them, I get those. And since all of these figures are kind of coming with the effects, you know, so the explosions or the, you know, different types of effects, the price point on them is all jumped. Yeah. Like $15-$20. Yeah. So now you're paying like $80 just for a figure art because they come with...
Yeah,
you know,
like every now and then I'll go on Amazon and I'll just kind of browse and see, like, I'll just look at like random SH figure arts. I always just type in SH figure arts, see what I can find, and sometimes I'll look and see like Hope that the Beetleborgs ones would be like marked down in some way, but they just stay fucking expensive as fuck.
Because Beetleborgs is not going to have reissues.
Yeah.
The thing is, and that brings me to my next thing, is they also announced that they're reissuing another repaint of Brawly, which is like mind-blowing. Because the first one was awesome. Then they made the repaint, which had the more green-tinged hair that I really liked, so I got that one, and then gifted my first one to my buddy for like his birthday, or for his birthday. And then I'm like, all right, cool. And I look on eBay and I see the one that I have is now worth like $300. I'm like, oh wow, that's crazy. I'm still never getting rid of him, but whatever. And then they announced that they're doing a third special color version for the character. And I know they did that because of Dragon Ball Fighter Z or Dragon Ball Fighters or whatever. Yeah. So, you know, the popularity of these characters, they just keep getting reissued. I think Cell's getting another repaint, so he's got a third one, I think, coming out. Like, they just keep doing this shit. It's kind of annoying. Yeah. Because, you know, there's something to be said about the figure or the version of the figure that you had originally. Like, that's yours. It's your baby, you know? It
was, and then I sold my Vegeta because I was broke as fuck.
Yeah, well, not no more LeBron James wearing Under Armour wearing gear making son of a bitch.
Don't forget Converse.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Hey, yeah, you got Converse. Yeah, black on blacks, baby.
Debating on putting a black on black Brick Knight Creative logo on the side.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Essentially, you paid for the Converse logo as is. Just rock the shoe.
Well, no, the Converse logo is on the inside.
Oh, then put it on the side. Yeah. Let's see, what else? Oh, and last but not least, I don't know if I talked about this last time. I don't think we had potted since then. But the skies have parted, and my gods have smiled upon me and reached their hands down to shake my very foundation and to touch my soul, because motherfucker. Okay. Oh yeah. I'm sorry, everyone. So you guys know that my favorite line right now is Storm Collectibles. They make all the fighting game guys and shit that I like. Their Shao Kahn right now is like unfucking matched. It's insane. The figure's insane. But they announced their license for Fist of the North Star just a couple weeks ago, and I had to like put down the phone. Like
he put it in another room.
I sit down.
You put it in the freezer. You walk out of the house.
I sat down the phone. I remember my reaction.
Mississippi Ocean or Mississippi River.
Sat down my phone, and then I just looked at a wall with my hands over my mouth, almost like you would have thought two things. I was expecting a child, or my closest friend just died. You wouldn't have been able to guess. So if you were to come up to me and go, oh my god, what happened? I'd been like, Fist of the North Star is getting a toy line from my favorite toy company. People would have walked out and probably have never been my friend ever again. But I tell you what, I'm really excited for this shit, because that shit is my religion. Storm Collectibles is my favorite company right now. Best believe that we are going to have a whole podcast of me just S-ing the D of these figures, reviewing it, taking pictures of it. I don't care. It's going to happen. I vow this on my life. Actually, on that note, I would like to do a podcast in the future here of showing our collections off. Okay. And not a podcast, but a video.
I would like to do that. I've been having a lot of ideas, been wanting to brainstorm, and people can hold this stuff against us if they want. But I really want to do some more video mediums and trying to figure out ways to properly do that. That's, isn't too costly. That can work for us and all that stuff. And I think even having this we have a decent backdrop here. It's just a matter of having proper lighting, having proper cameras, sound, microphones and all that stuff for sound, having proper, just making sure, because if we do it, I'd rather it be right instead of just doing it the same way I do my videos where it's just with my phone.
Well, we just do it. Yeah.
So I'd rather it be right, because I feel like there's a lot of opportunity for us considering what we're talking about. We talk a lot about stuff that you kind of need to look at. So it's cool to talk about it. And it's very interesting because, like, I'm all about listening to a podcast about people talking about stuff that I'm interested in. And so I know there's a market out there. Because if I like it, there has to be a bunch of people out there to like it too. Mm-hmm. But also, it's like if there's a visual medium to it, it would be perfect. Yeah. And I think like even if you if it was just you, since you're hardcore into the toy stuff, just doing video reviews and then me putting it on the channel, then just the more the merrier. Like, I
at this point I own so many figures, and I would more like to do it where I would just show off figures that I enjoy. Yeah. Because at this point I don't want to review figures that suck. Yeah, I think that would be a waste of time, and I own so many figures already that I just feel like fuck reviews. Yeah, essentially, just kind of get caught up in the world. Yo, I like this figure. Let me show you why, idiot. I like that.
Well, it's like because when you talk about like a figure that you enjoy and it has specific specs to it that. Why you enjoy it.
Why I enjoy it.
Yeah, then that leaves an appeal why, like, you wouldn't like other figures, and it's like, there's an interest, and it's like, okay, he likes this for this reason, then, or, like, it's in my head, I have it, like, I know exactly what you're going for, but, it's...
And I'll definitely, do toys and figures and shit that I like, but definitely have flaws, do not get me wrong. Yeah. Because everything's going to have its flaws, and if they're big ones, I'm going to bring them up. Yeah. But essentially, they're in my collection for a reason. If I don't like them, I'm selling them.
Because, like, doing, like, toy review stuff has been, like, an interest of mine. But it's, like, there's certain things that kind of deter me from doing certain things. Because unless there's a way we can do it and make it our own... Which it's kind of the same way I go about it with professional wrestling. Like, when I go in the ring, and if I'm going to do a move... Like, for instance, I've especially working as a good guy, like, I've always flip-flopped from my comeback sequence being a certain way. Right, fair. So how I go into what would be the point of where John Cena's five-knuckle shuffle is, I switched it up to being me just doing a flying burrito, but flying, that's what everyone calls it, burrito, but flying forearm into the corner.
Really? Everybody calls it a burrito?
That's what everyone calls it.
Flying burrito?
Just calls it burrito. Forearm is a burrito.
Is that for the boys? Like,
I think it's usually for the boys, yeah. That's what everyone calls it, a burrito.
Fucking flying burrito. Holy shit, man. Yeah. Kayfabe.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, man.
But yeah, burrito in the corner, and then I just kind of take the person, I just toss them to the middle of the ring. And I just kind of... And the thing is, when I do the flying burrito, that's what and to me, I call it the special beam cannon, because I'm doing the two fingers. So I'm building up to it, so I'm doing, like, have my two fingers here, and then I just, like, whip it at them like I'm fucking Bullet Club and shit. And then I do my forearm, throw them to the middle of the ring, and I've thought of doing a Pele kick for a while, but it's like, if I do a Pele kick, it's just going to look like either, like, I can do it like AJ Styles, or I can do it like Finn Balor. They're mostly known for doing Pele kicks. I'm sure a lot of people do Pele kicks, but those are the main two because they're on the main roster. So how do I make it my own? And that's usually how I go about everything else. Like, how if I try to do my channel, how do I make this channel my own? For me, my channel is me showing you how I make wrestling gear and how I do this and that and how I go about it. That's kind of sets me apart from a lot of people, because not a lot of channels or any channels out there that do that. So how I do my Pele kick, I do a cool little shoulder roll for momentum, and then I do a Pele kick. So I shoulder roll and then I shoulder roll facing them, and when I do the shoulder roll, my back is facing them, and then I do a backflip, give them the Pele kick if they're positioned right, and it looks cool. It gets a cool wow factor there, and I really dig it. And it's like, yeah, it's pretty cool. So that's kind of one of those things, correlate wrestling into everything else, making something my own.
Yeah,
and that's advice I try to give to people too.
So what we're trying to say is we want to do figure reviews or like figure showcases and stuff, but we really want to execute it the way we shoulder roll, Pele kick, flying special beam cannon burrito people.
Yes, exactly. I'm glad you're on the same page.
I just want to make sure that everybody's still following.
Yes.
Because this was about toys before it was about flying burrito, special beam cannon, shoulder roll.
I lose sleep at night thinking about how I transition, because like I I will go walk up the stairs completely fatigued and tired and ready to go to bed. But then as soon as I try to sleep and I turn off everything and I just lay there, all I am thinking about is fucking wrestling moves and wrestling matches and how I can do things differently.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot fucking sleep because I'm thinking about shit like this.
I think it's a good thing you don't own a fucking ring, man.
Dude, I thought about it. I was like, man, I would love. That's a dream of mine.
Thing, yeah.
It's like I would love to fucking own a ring
Just
that I can
one.
just go to.
Just
that is
bump
just easy.
in.
It's like I would just have a house or just live in a warehouse that in the middle of it is a ring and surrounding it is just office, kitchen.
I would
bathroom.
do cardboard
Cardboard.
cardboard cutouts of my favorite stars. Hugh Jackman.
Just sitting, just like in the front rows. Just watching.
It would be super sick. And then I'd have cardboard cutouts
George-
of all the
George Clooney dressed up as Batman.
AVN award winners, all Vivid Girls cutouts. I would just anime body pillows. Just man, my ring would be lit. Anyway, so
but if we were to
just
go
thought
about
that'd
it,
be cool.
if we were to go about it, we have to definitely brainstorm, figure out how we can make something like that our own. Because there's so many channels that do it really well. There's one in particular, like Anthony's Customs, does figure reviews.
D Amazing does really good too because he reviews the figures in the scaled backdrop. So like it'll be like a cityscape, or it'll be like a he spends he gets these really elaborate hand painted or molded and sculpted backdrops just for these 12 scale figures in question. So when he reviews them in like a city or shit like that. So you can see how well it measures up to other toys when he brings them in and like the environment. Yeah,
that's awesome.
So there's a lot of really cool ways to do it. It's just when I do it, there's going to be a lot of curse words. So hold on to your butts.
Plenty of curse words. So me, I haven't been in the world of toys considering my shoe addiction, but I'm not going to talk anymore about shoes. Actually, thing has been kind of what I've been wanting to play is some N64 games. Because I went to Level Up Games over in South St. Paul, and I was kind of looking through, and I found something interesting. I found an Electronic Gaming Monthly, and their selection of like used like magazines that they get and stuff. And I think I've talked about it in the past. I was always obsessed with Electronic Gaming Monthly, as a lot of people were. That was my go-to. That was my go-to magazine ever since I was a kid, and that was like the only thing I would read was Electronic Gaming Monthly. I hated reading, but I enjoyed reading articles in Electronic Gaming Monthly. And I had a huge collection of Electronic Gaming Monthly magazines, and I ended up getting rid of them because I don't need these. But now I'm at that point, I'm on a huge nostalgia kick where it's like, I wish I still had them. Because I want them for the exact reason why I want them, and that is because I want to be able to just look back at what was hot in 2000 whatever and just read about it and read about stuff and just like go take a shit and just read about it and stuff. So it's kind of weird to buy a used magazine when you think about like what I would do reading them. And I'm not talking about jacking off. In most cases, people buy a fucking Playboy back in the 90s, but like you take a shit reading a magazine, you think, okay, if I have a used magazine, most likely this person took a shit reading a magazine.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
You can't clean a magazine, so
I mean, hopefully they're not wiping their ass with the pages.
No, it looks just fine. So I hope it's just fine. It doesn't have any water damage that I've noticed. But no, I got that magazine. But also I was kind of looking through the games, and I noticed that they had I think they had No Mercy or WrestleMania 2000. I think it was WrestleMania 2000 that they had. And I was looking for Mario Kart because that's one of a few games that I loaned to friends back in the day and I never got back.
Sounds right.
So
that sounds like the 90s.
Yeah, and I have my N64 and I know it works, but apparently my TVs are a bit too new to where the component cables that I have cannot connect to it and work. So I have to get some type of an adapter of some sort to get it to work properly.
I see.
So I ended up going to Hot Comics over, I believe, in Bloomington. And that's where I found WrestleMania 2000. And I got those and I was like, I would love to play a wrestling game, but I want to play the wrestling games that I played back in the day. I don't want to just buy a freaking overcomplicated 2K18 game. I just want to play something simple. And But yeah, I can't play them because the adapter doesn't work that I got, and it's annoying.
That's really annoying.
But yeah, you told me about Fire Pro Wrestling on insanely overpriced on PlayStation Store.
I think it's like $50 and it can get fucked right now. I mean, the one for PS2 is probably just as good, but you know there are more moves and shit now on the games, and I know there's like New Japan stuff on there because obviously New Japan's running the world.
Yeah.
So I mean, or at least the indie world right now. So I'm looking to get it hopefully when the price drops.
Yeah.
But honestly, you know, aside from that, Street Fighter and the inevitable me getting God of War, I mean, I don't. I mean, that's gonna be the extent of my game playing for real.
Yeah.
So let's be honest there. You know, and I'm lucky enough to where my TVs both still have the AV hookups.
Yeah.
So I can still play my N64 and shit.
Yeah.
And you know, I got a modded Xbox that I like to play old games on as well, and that has the same hookups. So nice. I'm blessed in that
thing is,
in that regard.
Thing is, back in the day, I used the cable that I used to connect. What was that for my PS? I'm wondering if that was for my PS1 at the time. But like, I had a cable that connected to like the little cable outlet, like for the the
we
cable.
all
That's
we all
what
did
I
that.
had.
But you were like fancy as balls if you had the AV hook
Well,
up
usually
in
the gaming systems came with the AV hook.
Right.
But you had to buy
your TV.
Yeah, to hook it up to the TV cable portion in the back where you had to get a splitter or like disconnect it every single time. Mm-hmm. That was a different story, and that was something you had to buy separately, and that's what I had. Annoying. So, but I had like a splitter one, so I had one that like I can connect the like my TV, like the cable box, and
and then you would just run this tree of nonsense.
Yes,
like mine was like my Sega Saturn, and then my PS1, and then I think that was it. My Sega Saturn, my PS1, the AV jacks were used for the VCR. Yeah, goddamn.
Yeah, for me it was just I had PS1,
ancient.
PS2 at the same time, along with the N64, which and then eventually the PS3 when living out here and shit. But back in I think 2000 it was, or about 2000 2001, and I had just those three systems, PS1 and PS2, which I didn't need the PS1 anymore after getting the PS2. But
the PS2.
Yeah, good old days. The one that was my first system that actually saved my allowance up to fucking purchase.
Good, because it was the best.
Yeah.
I love that thing.
Yeah. And so now we can move on to the entertainment portion, TV and movies, or whatever we talk about.
Well, you saw Solo.
Yeah.
I wanna go through Solo, then we can go through Deadpool 2, and then how about we both watched Batman Ninja, so we'll give our 2 cents on that as well.
Yeah, we talk about Batman Ninja and work our way up to Deadpool. You ended up just like, I think after we potted, just purchased it. We just after we went out to get some lunch, necessary breakfast lunch. At about almost 3:00 in the afternoon. We came back, we started watching some, you downloaded it, got some Batman Ninja, and watched it, and it was ridiculous in the most awesome way.
For sure.
I'd say. It was way over the top and exactly what you expect from a Japanese anime-inspired Batman story.
Right. The big thing about Batman Ninja to me was how high of a quality it was for being a hybrid fusion of 3D style. Mm-hmm. So lately, your Arc System Work games have been implementing this 3D 2D mesh, at least that the 3D seems almost seamless from the 2D versions, and the style is just as strong. So this is the first time that I think I've seen it translated into media form, like movie form. Mm-hmm. So it's really good. A lot of times these CG anime shows lose me. I mean, they feel lifeless, and I get it because budgets and all that jazz. my favorite mangas, my favorite anime, my favorite, I don't know, how do you say it? I mean, really, my favorite things are Fist of the North Star and Berserk. And Fist of the North Star has a new series coming out that also integrates this 3D kind of style. This is the Fist of the Blue Sky. And based on the trailers, it looks a lot better than, say, the 2016-2017 Berserk, which looks like absolute dog trash. So, I mean, anybody that knows bad CG or bad cell shading will call it out right away. And the fact that you'd have to let something grow on you after 3-4 episodes means it's bad and you're trying to trick yourself at this point.
Yeah.
It's just stylistically it doesn't work. So to see it in Batman Ninja, I was very, very impressed. The voice acting was super good. The designs I thought were amazing. And some of the guy who voices Batman specifically is the same guy who voiced Batman in Arkham Origins, if you guys have ever...
There was a lot of crossover with Arkham Origins, and even some voice actors from the
animated
the
series.
Batman... not even the animated series, but the Batman cartoon.
Okay.
That was that was like, I believe 2004 or 5 or whatever. But yeah, which I actually really dig that show.
I heard it was good.
It's pretty good.
Wait, that was the one Jeff Matsuda, I think, did the character designs for.
Yeah.
That was the same series that it was like the same team that did Jackie Chan Adventures.
Yep, it looks very similar to that. So yeah, totally.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
I thought it was really cool, like style and look for the cartoon. But yeah, a lot of the crossover with the voice acting from there, and then Arkham Origins, and it was just a very interesting movie. And I really dug like just the aesthetic of a lot of the characters, especially Poison Ivy, which I wish we saw more of.
Yeah. I loved her aesthetic. I thought she was great.
Yeah, with the like pink hair instead, it's like that felt right.
It felt right. Like I was very juked. I didn't see that coming. So there's that. I mean, the Deathstroke design was really good. I mean, really, everybody's was pretty good. Robin's bald top was killing me.
It was insane. And it just screams, like, yeah, I want to collect all these fucking toys.
Yeah.
They just scream. And they do, SH Figure Arts is doing their Joker and Batman and all that.
Oh, and they also unveiled that they're doing, they're doing 2 packs of the Joker army.
Oh, nice.
So you can literally
make a whole
build,
set.
Yeah.
Diorama City.
So, and the deluxe version of the Batman is Sengoku and Ninja.
Okay.
So like you can take the armor off and shit, and then I think the cape is wired, so then it becomes the Ninja Batman one that you see at the... I was pissed. I can't... Y'all...
You can't keep up.
And then we have that Revoltech Batman that's coming out, which I forgot to mention is going to get fucking got!
Yeah.
Ugh.
Gotta get that. Those are really great figures. With I just feel a little... I feel a little tainted when it comes to that because of the Naked Snake, or not Naked Snake, but the Venom Snake that I got pretty much fell apart.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I understand that is something because the Revos have so many joints.
Yeah.
But I think Snake is smaller than.
It's
those.
Actually no. It's the same size. I thought it was going to be smaller because I have a solid Snake that is smaller.
Oh, the
scale
small
one.
solid. Yeah. So I mean, I think they've come a long way. Because right now the Captain America I have is pretty sturdy.
Yeah, it seems very strong.
Yeah, he seems.
Where mine just as soon as I took it out the box, it's like this thing's gonna break. It's like it made of glass.
And I think the Spider-Man might be like that too, just because of how tiny he is.
Yeah.
But I really want the Carnage. I forgot to bring that up too. All the reviews say he's great. He comes with a ton of accessories. So there's that. But either way,
you have any issues with the movie at all?
So my biggest problem with the film really is that its job was to be over the top and do everything it wanted to. It's like somebody said they wanted a Batman movie and they wanted mechs, they wanted monsters, they wanted the rogues gallery, they wanted his main villains. They wanted mech battles. They wanted gunfights. They wanted ninjas. They wanted, you know, when I say over the top, it is no fucking exaggeration. This movie is too much.
It is.
But it's a charming too much. Yeah. So
like, it really depends on like how, like what you either expect or want out of a movie like this. And if you kind of, I don't know, if you're overly critical and you feel like if you go into it with the wrong state of mind, you're most like, the movie's kind of screaming like, hate this. Like if you hate this, like what they give you, they did it specifically for you to hate it. That's kind of what it feels like.
Really, it plays out a lot like a Power Rangers season finale.
Yeah.
That's what I got out of it. So like if you had a 4-episode season finale of Power Rangers where the fucking Green Ranger shows up as well as the Gold, or you know, then you get a time traveler, and then their mechs show up. Yeah. And then it comes to the giant magnum opus where they fight. That's what you got out of this. Is like you got everything. But they crammed it into the film. So, although it's too much, it's definitely worth watching.
It's just fun. Like, because it's not taking itself seriously.
Yeah, exactly. It's just bonkers.
Which, like, a lot of, like, Batman films can be kind of come up. Even though they can be entertaining, they can still be a little pretentious.
Yeah,
and a little more.
Especially, especially the last 10 years, right? Like,
yeah.
Back when we were growing up, that was not the case.
Yeah. You know? And, like, me, I was diehard, like, buy every single DC animated movie, and the last probably 4 or 5 years it hasn't been the case anymore because they just haven't been appealing to me. Sure. It's like, especially, like, the one movie that I would really want to own and see and would love for them to have, they did, which was Batman and Harley Quinn, which I haven't even watched yet. I've just heard that it's not great.
Yeah,
and it's like, so I've been kind of turned off by it. It's like I want to form my own opinion, but I don't want to pay to form my own opinion.
Yeah. Now the last of those films that I really liked was Justice League Dark.
Yeah.
Though the Justice League Titans was actually pretty decent.
Yeah. A lot of them on Hulu, which I did not realize that.
Yeah, well, that just happened.
Yeah,
that just popped up because I just checked that too, and I saw that happened.
Yeah, because a couple on there I haven't watched. Though I think Judas Contract I haven't watched.
And Judas Contract wasn't that good, which is sad because it's one of the best arcs. For I mean, it's what solidified Deathstroke as a badass, and in his golden years of being around, essentially. Yeah. So. Those were important, and also Killing Joke wasn't good, and that left a bad taste in my mouth too.
Yeah.
So and Assault
I think that was
on
the
Arkham
last,
was really bad.
Like, I think that one and Justice League Dark are the last two that I bought. Like Killing Joke and Justice League Dark are the last two that I bought, and after that I'm just like, I don't need to buy them anymore. It's like. If they happen to come up in any way, if they scream at me, I need to see this, then you will. But none of them have done that.
So DC has announced that they're doing their app, that DC Unlimited. Yeah. I don't know if it's gonna include comic content, which I was praying it would. Yeah. Because that was a rumor those couple years ago. Is that it would also include comics in the app. Yeah. So if there was a way for me to read my comics via app, like on my television, I would get it in a fucking heartbeat. You know what I mean? Because not on top of my shows, I can get my weekly releases. I will pay $15 a month for that. Yeah. Especially that now they're going to have shows that are exclusive to them. So I know the Titans show is going to be on there. Young Justice is going to be on there. And then, it's animated films. All the Warner Brothers DC properties are going to be through that app. Just like Disney's going to do the same thing for its shit. Yeah. So
is that what they said was going to be like $15 a month?
No. I'm just saying what I'd pay for it.
Yeah.
If I had in combined, my new, say, Superman came out this week. Yeah. And
you would just start getting them digitally if that was an option.
If I could choose to get the digital copy on my account and I could watch it in tandem with my shows, shit yeah. Shit yeah. So, I mean, it just makes sense if there's a mobile app for it.
But they do have the
Yeah.
comicsology one at least. They have that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so if you wanted to read all the comics that you wanted, you have that option.
Yeah,
but
sure.
but them combining it with that, that's a totally different story because they do have their own separate applications. Like if I can buy DC Comics on the DC Comicsology app, but on the Comicsology app, it just sends me to Amazon. So if I want to buy like just any comic from any publisher, so I have to pretty much get them from Amazon because it's all linked through Amazon and stuff.
And if you want to stay DC exclusive, I think that would be the easiest way to go. It's like
that's typically what I end up reading, but like I'm just more of a trades guy. Just like I rather
and I completely understand. But if they gave me the option to buy 99 cents for the digital copy if you want it directly on the app, I'd be like, yep.
Yeah.
So I just think that would be the coolest. But the movie, either way, I'd say if I had to score it, I'd probably give it like a 7.5.
Yeah.
Maybe an 8. 7.5. Because it's really condensed and there's lots of stuff going on, but it's so damn pretty and so well acted that, the negatives I completely look over.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I really like that. I didn't see Solo, so if you could give me a review.
Keep it a little spoiler free because like the spoiler, there's really one, and I think a lot of people agree, there's really one main spoiler in the movie that's definitely worth seeing for yourself because I reacted like, holy shit.
Okay, word.
I'm like, where does this play? But I fucking dig it. But yeah, it's Solo just came out, so it's fresh. So I'm not gonna go too in depth on certain elements, but I thought it was great. I thought it was exactly what it should have been. Like I think I needed a couple days to kind of digest it. Whereas like, because when I first came out, I was like, I thought it was alright. I thought it was just fine. But it's like, and then you really think about the movie, and it's like, it was what it needed to be. Like it didn't, because it's not like the other Star Wars movies where it's like, okay, it's like this big giant universe, but everybody just seems to live on the same freaking block. Like it wasn't much like that, and so the way I played with it, like it was really fun, and the way they tied in stuff that like we're familiar with, trying to build these relationships, and like how Han Solo got his gun, how Chewbacca and him actually meet, and it's just how they ended up becoming friends. Seeing that kind of relationship build throughout the movie was very cool, and the actor.
Whatever his name is.
Yeah, I had it on the tip of my tongue and I totally forgot. But I'm terrible with names anyway. But he did an amazing job. Like he's not doing an impression, but he's just being. But but you believe this is what a young Han Solo is.
Yeah.
Because like you see the kid in him. Like when it comes to him playing, so he did everything just fine. I've heard negative things about like, oh, he's not a good actor, and he's very new to the acting world. He's not really doing a great job. And it's like I didn't see any of that. I thought he was doing great, pretty much just like it seemed like he was just being natural. He was just being himself.
Right.
And he did that great. He wasn't trying too hard to be Han Solo or be Harrison Ford, which was great.
Right.
And
that's perfect though.
And you can see, and like I said, you can see the kid in him where it's like he wants to be a pilot. He wants to be the best in the galaxy and all that stuff. It's stated, at the beginning of the movie, and then it builds through that, and you see it in his eyes. You see it in those certain moments where it's like, I want to be a pilot. I want to fly. But he gets held back because certain things like, oh, we already have a pilot. We already have this and that. You don't need you to fly. But once he gets to, he's very excited. Like the first time he gets to fly the Millennium Falcon, it's like, because he can't fly it because like Lando's flying it. And Lando with his co-pilot, the droid and stuff. And, using.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I had that same idea. I was actually gonna do it and paint it and stuff.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But no, because it's Lando's ship and Lando flies the Millennium Falcon and all that stuff, so he didn't need to fly it. But then there was an opportunity where he got to fly it, and you see the excitement in his eyes to finally be able to fly it, and he falls in love with the Millennium Falcon.
Oh, yeah.
And then just the chemistry between him and Chewie within the movie, it's like the Chewie that you see is like, yeah, that's Chewie. That's Chewbacca. It doesn't feel different. It felt right, and it's a totally different actor.
Yeah. That's
and it's a younger dude that does not look like he's burdened by being tall. Like he actually looks.
Because the guy that plays Chewie, he's so old. You know?
But he did an amazing job. the surprises in this movie, which is like the one big surprise, is very surprising. So once you get there, you'd be happy. It just makes you
happy you were there.
You'd be happy you were there. And I think my only gripe with the character of Han Solo, which is this is not a gripe towards the movie because like they never built Han Solo as a fighter. They built him as like, you know, as a dude that, you know, he shoots his gun. He's pretty much like, you know, he's an outlaw. He's kind of like a cowboy and stuff. But like
on a steel horse he rides.
Yeah, and so like they stay true to that because they don't show him being an awesome fighter in this movie for you to see later that he's not an awesome fighter. So it's like, so they kind of stuck with that. They tried to stay consistent with those elements,
right.
Those things. So whatever they showed you in these movies, they try to maintain that continuity with him within this movie. It's like, okay, he's never fought for shit in A New Hope and Empire and Jedi.
Yeah.
So we can't show him being a good fighter in this. So they really show you it's like, oh, this dude can't fight. Yeah. And like and that's my only gripe with the character is like I wish he was a bit of a fighter. That way he could have did some action stuff in here. Yeah. But not every fucking character.
But that's
not Han Solo. It sets him apart. Like he's just he's good at doing what he does, and that's kind of being a little bit of a just being able to talk his way out of anything. But sometimes that kind of falling flat on him.
Yeah, I mean that makes him though.
Yeah, and the supporting cast was great. Like Woody Harrelson's character in the movie was pretty good at like kind of being somewhat of a mentor role to him, and whatever that leads on to throughout the rest of the film. I thought that was really cool. He's the one that kind of gives him his gun that we all know for him having and stuff. Awesome. And then the other characters they kind of introduced. I guess Jon Favreau. I didn't realize. I knew the voice sounded familiar, but there's like this kind of monkey looking character that's a pilot in the first two or say like the first 20% of the movie that you see, and I'm like, that voice sounds familiar, and it's like, and it turns out it was actually Jon Favreau voicing that character, and so you kind of dig those characters during the whole train heist portion, and it was really good. I thought that all those things, everything they were building to, was like really great, and it felt nicely condensed properly, like not making it bigger than it had to be, and not that it's an awesome movie, like a fantastic movie. It's just like it's a good movie, like because it's separated. Like you actually feel like this is like. It's almost like a separate novel about a character that they put on the screen. Almost kind of like a Shadows of the Empire, where it's like, sure, everything's a little bit connected because like, you walk into a certain room and you see the Millennium Falcon fly off. So Dash Rendar is going on these adventures while they're flying away from Hoth.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Like it's not like that where it's like it kind of is, but kind of isn't. Like it's not forcing all this stuff down your throat that like it's totally connected. But
that's important.
But it's leaving room for like sequels. But I'm wondering how the sequels are going to play. Whether it's like, okay, is it going to be a Han Solo sequel, or is the sequel going to be like, okay, certain elements are connected because of the next Boba Fett movie, or certain elements connected because of the next Obi-Wan movie. Like, and I feel like that's what they should do is not do another Solo movie. It doesn't feel like they need to.
No,
like because Han Solo didn't even need a movie in the first place.
Exactly. I think really this shit is just a testing ground for them, to see what sticks.
Well, it just seems like those the anthology movies is what they are, because you have the actual saga itself, which kind of stand alone in themselves, but like these are anthology movies like Rogue One and Solo. Seem to be a little bit better than what they're giving us with 7 and 8. Because I rewatch 8. I end up purchasing it on iTunes, and I watch it because my girlfriend hasn't seen it, and I watched it again. And I remember the first time I saw it, like I dug it, because like on first impression I was like, I really dug it. But like after watching it again, I'm just like, I'm able to kind of really see it's like, it's pretty flawed. Not even that what I was thinking. I'm just able to see the flaws.
No, like what were they thinking in a lot of parts of that movie?
Yeah, because it had a lot, a lot of things. Like it had some things going for it, but it had a lot wrong with it too. And I didn't feel the need to pick it apart. But I enjoyed it for what it was, but what they gave me. But then you get to like the Canto Bight stuff, and it's like
don't bring that up again.
Yeah, I wish I could just skip ahead of this if she wasn't watching with me. But
And
No, I thought
you don't need to see this.
Yeah. So, but Han Solo is definitely worth watching, worth seeing. If you can either get a matinee or whatever, or go with a couple friends. Definitely worth the time.
Yeah, I'll definitely see.
Like I feel like the beginning of it, the very beginning was of the movie. It was kind of like, is this gonna be good? Like I started feeling like, is this gonna be good? But then after it passes that, because there's a certain part in the beginning where it's just kind of, and this is before it actually starts getting better, and this is really just like the first 5, maybe 8 minutes or whatever. But the way he gets his name, because apparently Solo is not his family name.
That's awesome.
It was a name that was given to him by.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was just
so
like.
Shut up.
Yeah, so it's like.
So shut up.
Yeah, which you'll probably see all over the fucking internet, but yeah.
Not yet. Yeah. So Deadpool 2, we both saw, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
How do you feel about Deadpool 2?
I liked it.
I like that movie.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit better than the first.
Yeah? Just
because the movie's so large and gave me so much of what I wanted to see. Yeah. So, I don't know. I really liked the first Deadpool a lot just because even with a small budget, it brought the character exactly where he needed to be, and it was a huge success for a rated R film. Because man, am I tired of PG-13 and PG films, man. Like, you know, I'm not a PG person, so being more relative to me is already refreshing, you know. But Deadpool 2 was a lot of fun. I had a good ass time watching that movie, especially since spoiler alert, turn this off now if you don't want to hear about Deadpool 2, especially since Juggernaut showed up.
Yeah.
And aside from now, the worst part of this film to me was the CG, just because it felt really wonky at times. But it's Deadpool, and he breaks the fourth wall constantly. So, like, you learn not to take it that serious. I just know that you got to see a Colossus and a Juggernaut fight, which is awesome. And there was absolutely no fucking reason for Negasonic to be there or her girlfriend. They were both fucking pointless.
Yeah.
But and I would say Cable is a little bit more edge than I would have done. He's far more edgelord than I expected, but he was still pretty cool. And Josh Brolin, apparently, this is his year of films. Well, because he's in everything.
Because he pushed himself out of #1 with this movie.
Jesus Christ.
Because it was Deadpool that pushed the Avengers out of #1.
In week 5.
Yeah, week 5.
But
it's like, he's #1.
Yeah. So Brolin again, everyone.
Yeah. I thought the movie was really good.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for me to say whether it was better than the first one or not. But, like, I definitely dug it for what they were trying to do. I think... where I take issue is really just like the I think the down moments of, like, you know, I guess the really building of him losing the loss of Vanessa. And all those little elements, like when they were down, they were like really down for a while, and it's almost like
it was
the movie takes a screeching halt
because the movie decided to take itself so goddamn serious all of a sudden that you're just like, whoa.
Yeah, which is like you wouldn't expect. So I guess there's that bit of contrast. Like me being a fan of contrast, you think I'd really be into it, but it's like for me, it just kind of stopped and got a little dull for a little bit.
Yeah.
And there's certain parts where it just felt like, and I don't expect it to be like jokey like 99% of the time. But like I just, when it just, those moments just kind of almost took me out of it in a way. But when it was up, it was up for me, and I really dug it. And I like the big bait and switch with the X-Force that they did.
Oh my god, that was so fucking great.
Yeah, I was really, and with the little bit of more that they did with Dupinder and all that. Like I really dug how he wants to be part of the team. He has a taste for blood. He wants to be a contract killer and all that. Yeah. So somehow he has to freaking mop up a freaking bar.
Holy shit!
And
hey, my name's Peter. I saw the listing. You just sounded cool.
Yeah.
You're hired. fuck!
Yeah,
like,
he dropped. I was
wrong.
like, the scene looks different than what I know, and then he dropped, and it was like, of course, Tupinder has to be there because he wants to be part of it, and he can't. But then this freaking dude just answers an ad, and he's like, I just saw the ad, and I thought it sounded great, and it's like, you're in. I just love that little moment where he just goes, you're in.
You're in. You're in.
And he cherishes him like a puppy. Oh man.
Dude, Shatterstar killed me.
Oh my god, and I'm just better than you at everything.
I'm just better. I'm like you, but better at everything.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And I like how at the post credits. Oh my god.
I missed the post credits because I couldn't watch the post credits because my girlfriend had to go to lab, so we had to leave.
Wait, you didn't watch the fucking post credits?
I couldn't. I had to leave. Because she
changes the movie.
Yeah, I know. I heard about it, but I couldn't watch it. We had to leave because she had to go to class, and I had to go with her. Because,
Sure. Well, either way, he hijacks Cable's time machine.
Yeah.
Goes back and fixes all this shit.
Yeah. So nothing matters.
He never loses. Well, not nothing.
Okay.
He never loses Vanessa.
Okay.
And he only saved Peter.
I heard about that.
But he let everybody else fucking die horribly still. Oh god. It was so good. But yeah, it was awesome. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
You know, the movie fucking ruled. It was a great time.
Yeah.
So either way, it's worth watching.
Yeah, I really Josh Brolin as Cable, I really enjoyed that. And the kid, fucking Fire Fist.
I thought I was gonna hate that kid, and I ended up liking that kid.
Yeah, just him like constantly he just wanted a friend. We're
like Tupac and Ice Cube.
This constant like comparison. He just wanted a buddy, and nobody wanted to be his buddy. Yeah. And I just thought, he was really entertaining, and yeah, I thought it was great. But yeah, it was definitely a fun movie. Still hard for me to say whether it was better than the other. I really dug the additions, and the more that they did with it, I really enjoyed. And definitely the X-Force stuff. Domino was great in this movie. My girlfriend loved Domino. If anything, this movie kind of inspired her to read more comics on Domino.
Yeah, well, she is. She'll find some things to be a little different.
Yeah, I bet.
But the funny part about Domino to me was how Deadpool was like, wow, who in the fuck would write a character where her powers are luck? God, it's probably the same guy who can't even draw feet.
Yeah.
And
which that's a very easy line to miss.
So good.
I heard about that. Yeah. I heard about that line through like one of the Funhouse podcasts they were talking about. They were talking about the movie. So certain things in the movie were spoiled for me already.
Yeah,
sure. But like it just until certain moments came up, I was reminded when those moments came up. So I knew that joke was coming, so I heard it faintly, and then I got a chuckle out of it. Yeah. But like it's very easy to miss because it happens.
It's happening during that scene.
Yeah, it's happening during that scene. So something that's already made you laugh your ass off is happening when he's saying that one thing. Yeah. So if you miss it, you miss it. Like
it was great.
But yeah, I thought Domino's character was really fun, and like how they keep playing up the fact because he doesn't see all this stuff that's happening, and it's like she's completely useless.
Use your made up powers to get inside the truck.
Yeah. And then him fangirling over freaking Juggernaut.
Oh, I loved it. What issues and you're my favorite character.
Yeah. And he just rips him in half.
And I'm gonna rip you in half now.
Yeah. And he's just like totally open to just being best friends with this little buddy and this little dude. And I kept seeing Vinnie Jones under that helmet. Yeah. Like even though I know it wasn't him and it wasn't a voice or anything like that, but I kept thinking it looks like Vinnie Jones. I think it's just because I kept thinking that might be Vinnie Jones.
It's not Vinnie Jones.
It's not him at all. And I think Ryan Reynolds did the motion capture for that too.
That's what I heard.
But yeah, it was definitely great. And
that was interesting.
And I think at the end of the podcast, we usually end with some wrestling wrap up, but you haven't been watching a whole lot of wrestling.
Nope.
But I think
not lately. It's been taxing on me brain parts because it's been kind of stupidly booked lately for me. I almost always watch wrestling, guys. So if it's to that point, that's some sad shit.
Yeah.
I mean, really, after, I had Backlash and then the Greatest Royal Rumble, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got, so I think in this portion, instead of just diving deep into wrestling, some of these questions are probably going to lie into wrestling, but one fan named, we actually have some fan questions.
Hey! Hey, how you doing?
Sure, it's one fan, which really defines this podcast.
Yeah, it does.
As only one person may listen. Or they just answered the ad. So, just like Peter. Probably his name is Peter. But no, it's I am Zay Fortune. Asked a few questions and stuff. And I'm only going to do the questions that can relate to both of us. Because a lot of them are very specific to me, but I'm not going to bore everyone with my specifics. So you wrestled a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes. Like
I wrestled a lot of it.
Yeah. So one of the questions: what was your favorite match you ever wrestled? So does one come to mind to you?
Shit. The Forgotten Era.
Yeah. For me, I want to do one of those tacky answers just because I can't think one off the top of my head, but even though I'm sure I probably talked about it before, but I'll say my next match is my favorite match. But
my next match is my favorite match.
Only because like I always have ideas. Like I was saying, I lose sleep over thinking about what to do in the ring because I don't want to do the same shit over and over all the time.
Right.
Other than the usual, other than trying to make stuff my signature stuff, I want to try and do stuff different, have a lot of fun. So that's where I can say my next match is my favorite match. If it's not my favorite, then fuck that one. But think about the next one.
Wow.
But
wow.
But because I always have these expectations of what my match should be, and then if it doesn't meet that or exceed it, then it's just like whatever. But no, I've had my favorite. I can't narrow down one match. My favorite matches are always whoever I have the best chemistry with.
That's fair.
And it's usually like someone like Arya Davari, who I wrestled a bunch of times. Him and I have always been in sync. We're just like there because we both have the same minds when it comes to being wrestling fans and being professional wrestlers.
Right.
Where it's like we always think like, yeah, we're gonna be like fucking Austin the Rock or Austin and Triple H or the Rock and Triple H in the ring. That's what we want to emulate.
Right.
And that's how we go in. We want to emulate that because we're fans. So we want to give fans what we wanted as fans. So I feel like him and I have always had great matches. Like Ryan Cruz, I had so many great matches with him in the past, and still to this day, him and I have amazing chemistry. Mm-hmm. So wrestling together is always, I know it's always gonna be a lot of fun. Him and I are just so in sync with each other that we don't really need to past the kayfabe point. We don't really need to go over a whole lot. We can just go in there, have a whole lot of fun. I blame that in the stereo in the car.
Fair.
And knocked over your Deathstroke.
Death's had a stroke.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean Ryan Cruz, we have such great chemistry. We can just go out there and just have fun. But I think even one of my later matches with Brandon Gore really stands out as one of my favorites, where it's one of those that kind of exceeded my expectations. Where it's like I kind of expected us to have a really great match, but we had a fantastic match, which that was for Steel Domain, where he gives me a German suplex, ended up getting turned inside out, and that was just a great match where I just wanted to see what he can do, and then we can just try to talk about everything afterwards, but just kind of go all out and
ballistic.
Just have a great match. Does any matches come to mind for you that you've had?
Oh man, okay. Let's see. Well, I only wrestled till I was like, all right, and then it was just like meh.
Yeah.
From there, but I had a couple. So when I wrestled in MCW, I wrestled Wild Pete. Mm-hmm. And that one stuck out because it was the first time I ever bladed.
Oh, okay.
I ever gigged, and It was ruthless. The match was just ruthless. He attacked my back the whole time, and it was fun because I like getting my ass beat, but it's hard getting my ass beat by people who are smaller than me because then people always nitpick it, and it makes sense because every match I watched, everybody was smaller than me. Just at least back then, it just happened to be like that.
It's hard when it's like, especially in the Midwest on independents, there's not a lot of big guys, and usually the big guy can be the heel, but at some point, like there has to be some suspension of disbelief where it's like, okay, either the bad guy is going to be this awesome, or even the big guy is going to be this awesome good guy, but he has to take heat somehow, so you can build that story. But if he's going to be the bad guy, he still has to take a shine and a comeback.
Right.
So it's like there has to be these elements like where you can kind of up the ante, and I find my ways of working around that. Where it's like I'm not doing the typical constantly kicking their leg, and I'm able to kind of up the stuff, do a little bit more explosive stuff than I normally would. But yeah, it can be tough when it's like little guy beating up on the big guy.
Yeah. And then I don't know. I think my match with you was just fine.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty good for me back then.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty decent. And then
is that on YouTube at all?
It used to be. And then I used to have the DVD of it. But I can't.
I wonder if I have the DVDs.
I can't find it anymore.
I know I had a bunch of DVDs, but I'm wondering if my little bipolar episodes, I got rid of them.
Probably.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to think if there was any other guys. I was just in a slew of tag matches and and fatal four ways and shit in NIW, and I say my favorite experience was probably being in the Neo Pro Rumble.
Okay.
That shit was hilarious to me because I'm surrounded. Basically, it's John Johnson just used our fucking greenhorn fed to just butcher all our guys.
Yeah.
So he could use our ring to put it together. He's like, yeah, just bring the guys in. And then all the guys that look like somebody just beat up all the guys who look like nobodies.
Yeah.
And I
cringe at the idea of just greenhorns just getting the shit beaten out of me.
Yo, tell me about it. But me and my boy Seth and I remember everybody was just getting potatoed and humbled left and right, and I think the only thing that saved me
thank you,
was,
sir, can I have some more? And just takes another burrito.
Yeah, so many burritos. More chops than burritos. I'll tell you what is that, a corn chip? Well, either way. Lots of corn chips being thrown
it sounds
out
appropriate considering how
with extra spice. Extra salsa.
It sounds appropriate because of the little bit of nipple that can come with that, and it hurts, and it feels like you're just chipping the nipple.
Then you get that triangle.
Yeah.
Where the fingertips, you get the
it's fun. It's funny to me. Just kind of go off on a little tangent about something very related but unrelated. How I take so much pride in scars I get from wrestling.
Sure.
Not that I've never bladed ever. I've never drawn blood.
In this day and age, you don't
have to unless
not necessary.
If you're not getting paid extra for it, you shouldn't be fucking doing it, especially nowadays.
Yeah,
but if anyone's watching a match that someone has to blade, then those people have been doing it for years and they're getting paid top notch for it. But no, I've never had a reason to freaking blade. I had one match where I probably could have, but it's are you gonna pay me extra for it? It's then no. But
right.
But no, I take pride in the scars that I get from wrestling. I've never gotten it really bad ones, but usually it's just chops or mat burn, rope burn, or anything like that, where it's just bruises that you get from wrestling once a month.
Rope burn.
But but the scars that piss me off, not even wrestling related. I will get cut up like crazy from wrestling matches. I'll take it in stride. But if I bump into my cat's cat tree and get a freaking scar, that's what this scar on my arm is.
What?
Because it was sticking out so much, it completely slices my arm.
Wow.
I lose my shit.
That sounds right.
Because it's not what cut me, it's why I got hurt.
Well, I mean,
for me to potentially get injured over something so stupid, because I'm very muscular, so I'm very clumsy, and I'm naturally clumsy and muscular, so I bump into everything. If there's a doorway, I'm gonna hit one side of those door jams. It's inevitable. Like, I hit the portion of my elbow bone that sticks out. I hit that. Like, not my entire arm. I hit that little portion of my elbow bone on almost anything.
I think you should work that muscle out.
I guess so.
Get it to grow.
It's like that guy at La Fitness who was questioning us on how to work that specific point.
How do you get your elbow muscle to grow?
Keep banging it on stuff, dude.
Yeah, just swell it up.
No, but I hit that. It feels like I'm chipping my elbow every single time, but it's like it's not even the elbow; it's just on the side, like where like the forearm ends and my elbow bends. Hit it on everything. That stuff is what drives me nuts.
So but, your favorite matches are the ones where you wrestle the corner of doors with your elbow.
I guess so.
All right, cool.
The ones I curse the most.
Got that out of the way.
But next question, another wrestling related one. Who would you wrestle? So just imagine yourself that you still are currently in the ring, wrestling.
I don't know if this should even be asked of me anymore.
So
who would I wrestle?
Yeah.
Hold on. Now, do you think honest question or is this like Mark question? You know,
let's do a little bit of both. Like,
okay. So if we're talking in the realm of the real, I would want to wrestle Stonehenge.
Okay.
Because I love him so much, and I think that match would be $1 million of shit talking. That's local. Yeah. If I had to wrestle anybody legit work, like who is signed, I'd say
signed or Japan or whatever.
Yeah. I'm thinking maybe Samoa Joe.
Okay. Which you had experience with Samoa Joe before.
Well, I met him. I was on a show, met him in the locker room, shot the shit for a little while. He wrestled a guy on our roster who should not. He should have not been wrestling at the time. He was just way too green, and we were just way too into ourselves, you know. But essentially, Joe was upset when he saw who he had to wrestle because the guy is so small, and Joe. It hits hard, and Joe was upset that he got paid so much. He didn't want to get paid so much, show up, be the main event, and just squash the guy. Yeah. He had mad
But it's just not believable that the small guy...
So he wanted him to go in. He was like, hey, man, take control. I'm going to bully you because I'm me. That's obvious. But essentially, he's like, yada, right? Yeah. So when we watched the match, after it was said and done, like the kid... Everybody was huge popping. I think we drew I don't know, the house was like 300 or something. Nice. It was good for our little place, but you had to spend so much money for Joe. Yeah. And that was when he was on TNA, or just signed. Yeah. So it was just really funny watching that live and seeing my boy just get absolutely brutalized because he should have. Yeah. Low key. I mean, the kid should have got beat up. And every time he had a time to hit Joe, he hit him like...
He didn't hit him like...
He hit him like fucking Downy soft.
Yeah. And that He's just scared.
And that's what Joe was...
He doesn't want to hurt him.
And that was what Joe was mad at. He was like, look, man, I get it, but you have to... This is our art, this is our craft. You have to make this look believable. And he didn't.
That's where being snug but safe, and
you can tell Joe is just that.
Exactly.
He's always been snug and safe.
I'm a huge fan of that. Because they're stiff, but then they're snug, and there's a huge difference. And I don't know if a lot of people really understand that. Where it's being snug is where it's you're hitting people in safe spots with you hitting them hard, but you're not you're like, okay, I'm gonna punch your chest with my fist, really fucking hard. That's not snug. That's being stiff and a fucking prick.
Yeah, but you can forearm a guy in his neck. Yeah, right. You in his.
For me, it's I forearm guys in the neck, and I get even Chris Jordan said this. He commented on this, and it was did you stiff? I wrestled Ryan at the MAW show, and we were just both on our knees and just trading shots, going in, and and I gave him my one big shot, and I was was face during this match. I get one big like burrito, one big forearm. Like, and I know the spot to hit it, especially because I kind of turned my forearm a little bit to get it on.
Get more of the inner.
Yeah, so it's not. So like my elbow is like nowhere near the equation.
And you're gonna make a lot better sound.
Exactly.
With the underneath.
So like when I do it, I turn it just a little bit and I hit it right on their chest.
Yeah.
And it gets like that's where you can see that splat of sweat. You get that sound and you get a nice thud or slap.
And that's why I always
looks and sounds awesome.
And I always liked it when guys would get on their like knees and then they'd give them a burrito, but flat. Just the flat part of the arm outside of the forearm, just like that, and then you can hear that nice slap and get that really good sound. I like that shit.
When like people start doing it like hard and doing it wrong is when like they do forearm because they see it on TV and not because they know how to do it.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
they give forearms like to like really bad spot in the neck or to do it in the ear. Like I had my
back
eardrum,
of the head even here.
Yeah, even in the back of the head. I've had my eardrum pop and stuff like from someone doing it, like just going a little overboard and stuff. But yeah, just like doing the forearm in the right spot, and when you do it, you make it count. Like, you don't just, like, you can do, like, a bunch of small forearms where it's just, like, barely touching you and stuff when you just lighten a person up. But if you got to do a forearm to get a reaction, you got to make sure you do that nice, like, just really wind it up and really hit it and get that sound and let that, reaction kind of, sink in and stuff.
And that's what I think Joe was really good at. He was good at a lot of that stuff. You can tell if you're in the business, you can tell his forearms aren't crushing the dude, but they're thick and he sweats a lot. So he always gets really good sound and contact out of him. His clinch knees are good because he's a big guy and he throws the knee right, but he doesn't drive it. That's the point. The ground knees to the head, those don't hurt, but they look really good. I mean, I always thought that style could go really well with me, especially because I'm tall.
Yeah.
And I really like to throw kicks towards the sternum, like Aleister Black kind of style.
Yeah.
So I thought that would work really well too. And I know, and he could fuck me up and it'd be believable. And I always felt like I always wanted a match with really good trades. That strong style stuff, and I never got that.
That's usually what comes to mind whenever I think of matches, like when there's a good, fun, like trading back and forth of strikes and stuff, and the crowd is really into it. Like when I was at the small town show on Saturday that I wrestled Rob Justice, it's like the crowd, we ended up stealing the show. Like everyone kind of felt bad for Mitch Paradise, who was main eventing, even though he was trying to build so much heat. I kind of felt like, fuck, is Mitch mad at me probably for.
Did you find out if he was or not?
I have no idea, but but I just kind of feel like, fuck, sometimes it can be great to steal the show, but sometimes people can look down on you for stealing the show. But it's like it's a small town show. It's one of those yearly shows and stuff. And the crowd, I got to network with the crowd during intermission too by selling stuff.
That's
and
awesome.
like actually communicating with them. Being a face allows me to actually, because no matter what, I like networking with the crowd and actually communicating with them, building a relationship of some sort. Right. So when they see me wrestle, they actually like me and not just seeing the stuff that I do. But now it's like some of them probably see me because there was a couple actual wrestling fans in the crowd who were screaming NXT, NXT. To me, it's like, I've never been in NXT. It's like they're just like screaming because they think I should be in NXT.
Yeah,
and awesome. It's like, that is fucking humbling. And then we have this like great match, and the crowd is freaking into everything and believing like Rob Justice beating the crap out of me. And then we get to a point where I'm starting giving him I haven't thrown any kicks yet. I told the fans I'll throw a kick, so like I started throwing him in the corner, just started doing kicks, then the wrestling fans were just like screaming yes. And I'm like, well, I gotta keep doing this then.
Well, thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah,
this book wrote itself.
Yeah. But as far as for me, who I'd like to wrestle, I'd say
start with the local. But you've wrestled everybody.
I wouldn't say I wrestled everybody. I definitely a little bit of two answers, a little bit of a cheat here, but any new kids anybody from the academy, anyone I haven't wrestled yet. I'm
Sure.
because I am always excited to wrestle people I've never wrestled before.
Sure.
Especially some kids who can look to me as like not necessarily like a mentor, but someone that they can learn from.
Right.
But like while in the ring, and I feel like I have a lot to offer as far as like teaching in that aspect, without being the the quote unquote vet, because I don't look at myself as a vet, even though I've been around much longer than some of these guys. I don't look at myself that way.
Sure.
Like I don't care who does, I don't.
Right.
And so I still look at myself, and I told Chris Jordan this is like, and Chris Jordan had my first match with him at First Avenue with him, and P. Huge tagging with Ryan Cruz. That was my first match out here. I was 18 years old.
Oh, no shit.
So it's like, and I tell him, it's like, I don't look at myself as a vet. Like I still feel like the same 18-year-old kid that you that you both junk sandwiched.
That you fucking humbled.
Yeah, that you beat the crap out of. Like, and they didn't really beat the crap out of me. They're always good to me. That was always because I'm just a good dude, and I just stick to myself, and I just keep my ears open. But no, like it sounds like I just still feel like the same. I still feel like a kid when it comes to these guys. So I'm happy to get in there with new kids and not like shut down all their shit. Like they want to do something, we'll figure out like where's the best place to put those things. Let them do all the things. Yeah. Let them do all the stuff that they want to do, and then after the match, we'll figure out what could have been done differently, what made more sense, what the crowds reacted to, and then we can pick it apart, and then that'll help them mold what they do later on.
I feel like a lot of guys don't do that.
Yeah.
That have been in the business for a while. They don't. A lot of guys don't let kids shine. Yeah. Because they have to earn it by getting their asses whooped. But giving a little shine doesn't hurt, because then they can at least find out what works before they get potatoed by everybody else. Yeah. So it's good to help those kids. Yeah. I mean, you can also make yourself look really good in the process. So.
Yeah. And I think locally, just because we're not always on the same card, I actually legitimately would like to wrestle Wild Pete.
Yeah, you would! yeah, you would!
I think a really fun story could build with that.
Hell yeah, me too.
With the type of character that he is, I think it's a damn shame that he's not wrestling at more places. And I know a lot of places are just like, it's either a money-hungry thing, or it's a like reach out to us type thing, or they're gonna take any person who's gonna pay $20 or only wrestle for $20 type and stuff, which ends up being that's one of the reasons why I kind of felt like I had no place, because like you have all these new guys that are gonna wrestle for cheap, and promoters are cheap. So it's a matter of like they want quantity over quality sometimes. Not that I'm looking at myself as like the most like qualified guy to be in the ring, but it's like in some ways I kind of am, because I feel like I have a lot to offer to wrestle anybody in the card and put on a great match. Like I'm very well aware of that stuff, but I think locally wrestling Wild Pete, there can be a story that can build there. I think there's a fan base that he hasn't hit yet, that with wrestling consistently at different promotions can really build that kind of, because he is a bit of a unique character in a way, like being him and just kind of playing that role,
especially around here too. It's like
there's not a lot of characters, and me, I'm not a character. I would never say I'm a character.
You are a face.
I am a wrestler, and I do my best to kind of stick what type of moniker I can on myself to try and whatever can work for a promo, and if anything. But it's like I work as a wrestler. Like I look stupid if I try to not take myself seriously. Right. Like I work as someone who can take themselves. I don't take myself seriously at all. Like I only take myself seriously enough to where it's like I just want to have good and fun matches. I want everyone to do what they want to do in the match that works and makes sense for the match, that works for the crowd. And I want to give the crowd their money's worth. Exactly. If the crowd also does their part by being a crowd and not just being spectators. And because there's a difference. And but no, when it comes to that, it's like I'm definitely not a character as much as I would like to be a character. I just feel like there's only so much that I don't want to be an Adam Rose type. I don't want to be a No Way Jose type. I don't want to be a one man band or 3-man band. Like, I don't want to be a gimmick because I'm not a gimmick. I'd rather just be a moniker and a great wrestler.
Sure.
And if that doesn't get me far, who cares? I'm making a good amount of money making wrestling.
You're doing fine.
I'm doing just fine.
So answer the other fucking question, asshole. Who
All
do you
right.
want to wrestle?
Well, I want to wrestle
who's fucking
that's
popular.
out there that people know is fucking Ricochet.
Yes. That would probably be a wise decision.
Yes.
I
am obsessed with Ricochet. I think he's awesome. For obvious reasons, like he can work his ass off in the ring and do all that fucking great high flying stuff. Mm-hmm. He's known as a high flyer, but he doesn't need to be a high flyer.
No, he really doesn't.
And I feel like that's the same case for me, where people kind of look like you hear the Steel Domain commentary and they talk about me as like being able to do high flying stuff. It's like, I'm not known for doing high flying stuff.
But they also
I'm very explosive.
They also talk about like Ed Hellier's fucking catering.
Yeah.
Being White Castle.
So which is a fucking lie. There is no White Castle. I hate White Castle, but there's no White Castle back there.
Easy. Just keep going.
Anyway, but yeah, Ricochet, like I'm obsessed with watching his matches. He's not like a, doing the same thing over and over type dude. He does kind of like what I want to do, is like does different stuff, different matches depending on
similar styles, I could definitely see that working out. I would love to wrestle Aleister Black if I was good.
Yeah.
So there's that too.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but I think that'll conclude the questions here. There's a lot of questions, but they're very specific to me, and no one wants to hear me ramble.
I mean, we can cover them in the next.
There's always next one. Yeah, if they come up again, then yeah, I'll bring them up.
Sounds good.
Like I love so anyone who listens, like, do reach out to us. More than like. Obviously, we're not too busy to not take your questions.
Yeah. We'll get to them as soon as we can.
If they're there, we're gonna freaking answer them. And like,
for sure.
The podcast is where, like, if you ask me questions and comment threads on, because one of the questions was like doing videos on like more wrestling gear stuff. It's like, yes, of course, and it's all gonna be dependent of what I feel is worth putting out there. Definitely, there's a lot of stuff that's worth putting out there, but also I'm not a YouTuber. So I'm not making money on YouTube.
Right.
So there's a balance if you can take that for what it's worth. So, but definitely more videos are coming. It's just a matter of how I fit it into my schedule and all that. But ask your questions, whether it's email or social media, for me at Craven Knight or at Break Night Creative on all the social media out there. And then for Sean Slade, at Sean Slade on social media, or at Amberland Studios on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And you can check us out and see all the stuff that we're doing on there. Sean's always posting his creative ventures with his artistry, his images that he's been putting together and all that, so you can keep up to date on that.
Yes,
for me, always keeping up to date on. You can stay up to date on what I'm doing with all the wrestling gear that I'm doing. Typically, I tend to post a lot of gym stuff on Craven Knight, but on the creative, I'm always, at least I try to aim for like once a week of posting everything that I've done throughout the week, so you can see what's going on, because that seems to be the best time for me to sit down for an hour and just post everything instead of spreading it out throughout the week and stuff. So reach out to us if you have any questions. Let us know. We'll definitely answer them on the podcast. And if you do like the podcast, you want to leave a comment or a review us. That's how people are going to hear about us. Review us and share us and all that stuff. That's always great.
Do all that shit.
Yeah. So thanks again for listening. This was a fun podcast talking about all the stuff that we enjoy, and hopefully you enjoyed it as well. Stay creative. Peace, love, and chicken grease. We'll talk to you next time.
Yeah.